Using handbooks. You've probably heard that handbooks are student-centered because they speak to students in a friendly voice. You'll also find that handbooks are teacher-centered. They're not about what the curriculum wants. They're about what you want. For example, imagine that I am a fifth grade teacher and want to help my students improve their writing. The first thing I want them to do is think of writing as a process. So I turn to the chapter Understanding the Writing Process in Writer's Express. I want to show my students the process of writing, pre-writing, writing, revising, editing, and publishing. I also want to show my students how one writer went through this process. In the next chapter, I will show examples of pre-writing, writing, revising, editing, and publishing. But what supports do I have as the teacher to present these two chapters? Well, I start by going to the free Writer's Express Teacher's Guide online. Find the chapters that I want to present and click on them. Here I see a startup activity that helps me introduce understanding the writing process to my students. I also find a video that I can use to show my students what a process is. Then I can check the state standards that are covered in this chapter. Page 10 gives me an overview of the steps in the writing process. I can click to the next chapter and find the same sorts of supports for presenting one writer's process. This time, as I show pre-writing, I find some mini-lessons waiting for me. I can have my students do these mini-lessons in addition to the work that's on the page. So let's say that I finished presenting those two chapters, and now I want my students to actually do their own writing. I want to start with personal narratives, stories about the students' own lives. I'll use my startup activity and my Think About It quote, check all the standards that I'm covering, use mini-lessons to present ideas that are important to personal narratives, and walk them through the process. In their handbooks, students get to read a sample personal narrative, learn about gathering story ideas, and write a personal narrative using guidelines for pre-writing, writing, revising, editing, and proofreading. As my students are editing their personal narratives, I want them to dig in a little bit more deeply on conventions. So I turn to the Writer's Express 5th grade skills book and have them complete the activity Punctuating Dialogue. Then I expect them to take that new knowledge and apply it directly to the narratives that they've been working on. Once my students finish their personal narratives, they'll be ready for more challenging forms. Maybe I'll have them write stories from history, or maybe I'll have them write explanatory essays. In the end, handbooks are about empowering me, the teacher, and empowering my students to become the best writers they can be.